Hello. So, as people come on, I'm just gonna say hi. So make sure you say hi so I know you're on. If you're watching on the replay, just hashtag replay so I know you were here after that. But I decided to go live a little earlier today so that more people could catch it, especially those who aren't on Pacific Standard Time. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about the post I made regarding not getting sold on a man too soon. I really wanted to expand on that because it's a major issue that I think a lot of us women have, especially ones who have been single for a while or just really, really want love and are really looking for that right guy. It actually kind of came to me that I needed to discuss this after I went out to lunch with a girlfriend a couple days ago, and we were talking about her relationship with her husband. They're going through a rough time right now, and she was just, telling me what was going on, and I asked her, did you see the red flags in the beginning? And she said that yes, she did, but in the very beginning, he treated her so well. And I said, well, about how far in did you notice that something wasn't right? And she said that it was like maybe 3 months or something like that. So they've been together for years now, more than 5 years. And actually, I think even a couple years longer than that. And she's been trying to get back to this guy that he was the first 3 months of the relationship. And I'm sure you all have heard, about the whole representative thing, that when you first meet someone, you're usually meeting their representative, not the real them. So the first 3 months really doesn't give someone an opportunity to really let you in and you get the full experience of who they are. Most people are putting their best foot forward and, trying to impress each other, or just, kind of on their best behavior. You just met someone. So that's kind of to be expected. But the problem is when we as women get sold on a man too soon, you really stop thinking logically. You start almost being in survival mode when it comes to dating, and you try to make him fit into the mold of the man that you want or need. And you're not really assessing who he is and if he is that guy. You've just decided he's that guy. And usually we do that because it feels good, because we feel like we have a connection, because he seems nice, because, our first conversation, we stayed on the phone and we talked for hours and it was just great. And, he's a lot of fun and he's nice and exciting and he's really into me. Some of the men, you might be familiar with the term love bombing. Some of the men are love bombing. So within the first week or two, they're even telling you, I feel like we're soulmates. I really love you. Talking about making future plans and, that they're going to have something significant with you, and they don't even know you and you don't know them. And while there are cases where that works out, there are way more cases where that's not the case. Not everyone is compatible, but that's not always apparent in the beginning. And compatibility is not a matter of, do you guys want to work it out or not? Sometimes you have core principles, you have standards by which you conduct yourself, the way you see life, the way you want to live, your own issues that you are or are not willing to confront and deal with. That impacts whether or not you're compatible with someone. Sometimes you're not compatible because you or they or both of you don't want to do your inner work. So neither of you can advance to a higher level of commitment in a healthy relationship, not because you don't get along, not because he's not funny or cute or the physical connection isn't there. It's not a matter of those things. You're not compatible because you're both not willing to do your inner work. So you keep bumping up against each other's issues, you keep agitating each other, triggering each other, you keep dealing with each other's demons and your own demons, and that won't allow the relationship to advance forward. So you really need to watch out for, are you getting ahead of the man? Are you finding yourself envisioning a future with him to the point where you're actually invested in it, where you're like wanting it, salivating. I mean, I've been there, salivating, really like stuck on this, and really like committed to the idea that it's going to be this man, especially really early on, because he has not shown you everything that you would need to see to know that he will be a good partner for you. And if you feel like in the first couple of dates that he has, then you are in a position like I'm describing where you're at risk of not operating out of logic, getting too attached to the wrong person. And I really believe that's how we find ourselves in toxic relationships that we cannot leave, because we invest too much too soon. It's just like when you're gambling, when you're, when you're at the whatever, blackjack, craps table, whatever, roulette, and you go all in, you're like super invested in this working out. You're not about to walk away. You're not about to cut your losses. The more you invest, the more you find yourself wanting to continue to bet to get your money back, because you want to get the return on your investment. You want to get your money's worth. You don't want everything that you've invested to be lost and for it to all be for nothing. So you're going to stay and see it through. You're going to push. You're going to force. You are going to commit to this situation maybe longer than you should, and not be willing to let him go or let him walk away if, he shows signs of not being a good partner, not being a good fit for you, if he's not treating you well, if, the things are just not the way that they should be in a healthy relationship. You won't be as willing to walk away. And it's usually because you allowed yourself to get too invested too soon. Something else that is common when women get too invested too soon is you put yourself in a position where you're chasing and he's often leaning back, running, he's kind of dangling relationship in front of you, but you're in the position of the pursuer. You're the one constantly asking him, where is this going? Can we make this something more significant? I want you to claim me. I want you to marry me. I want you to make me your girlfriend. You are trying to lead the relationship. And men can sense when you like them more than they like you, or when you want the relationship more than they do. And a lot of times, even subconsciously, they will use that against you because it's a power piece. It gives them leverage against you. And that is not something you want to be the case. Because, as women, we are nurturers, we latch on, we love hard. So we're going to go hard for the relationship, either that or we're going to be hardened. And that's when you're kind of more in a masculine type energy where you're more detached. But when we're in our feminine and we're really feeling you, we're really loving you, we want to make the house a home. We want to treat you good. We want to, love you up and down and, tell the world. We just want to be like lost in love. And men are not like that. And a man really needs to invest in you over time and know that he has proven himself to you, that he deserves you and treated you as if he values you. A man knows when he has not stepped up in that regard. A man knows when he hasn't been treating you well. So when you still really like a man and he hasn't treated you well, what you subconsciously communicate to him is that you don't value yourself enough to demand more. You don't require that level of respect. You don't require a man to court you. You don't require a man to commit to you. You don't require a man to be honest with you or to, treat you the way he would treat a woman that he loves. Hi, baby. It's my doggy. Being all in my video. But, you put yourself in a position where you are constantly trying to pull something out of him and he's resisting. And that makes us tired. It makes us not feel good about ourselves because here we are groveling or, being dragged behind this man, and what we have in our love life or what we have in our life is dependent upon what he does. You don't have a happy, fulfilling relationship unless he decides to give it to you. You don't get married unless he decides to marry you. You don't get commitment unless he decides to commit. You don't get kids unless he decides to, allow that to happen. And it's a really disempowering place to be as a woman. It's the very thing most women fight against, which is being oppressed and being controlled. We have this energy running through us, and I think it came from, the women who came before us, who were oppressed, who were controlled, who were men's property and didn't like it. And that's one reason why they taught a lot of us in this new generation to go out, get our education, get jobs, get our own money so that we're not at the mercy of a man. Not every part of the world still teaches, or not every part of the world teaches women to do this, but it's very common in the West that women are encouraged to be more independent, that they are encouraged to have their own so that they are not dependent on a man and they can walk away at any time. And I get that. There is definitely some security in that, but it also leads to hyper independence. It leads to you being a bit more of a masculine type of feel and butting heads with men and trying to force your will with men, not leaning back and letting the man take the lead, because men lead relationships. Women have control over when sex happens and when children are born. Men have control over when the relationship becomes committed and when marriage happens, because men propose. So that is kind of, the balance, the tango between the two genders. And sometimes when a woman is such a go-getter, she's independent, she's used to having her way or making it happen. When she gets determined, when she's sold on a man, she's like, I'm going to make you mine. I'm going to make it work. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, whatever I have to show you, however I have to, make sure that this occurs. I'm going to do it. And sometimes the guy is just not the right guy. He's not the right guy. He doesn't deserve you. He's not at that level where he can give you the type of relationship and commitment that you want and deserve. There's a lot of factors that play into whether or not a relationship is going to thrive and go the distance between two people. And it's not always about, do you like each other? Do you both want the relationship? Sometimes it's bigger than that, because, I could want $1 million, but am I going to be willing to do what it would take to get it? I could want to be the CEO of such and such company or the manager in this department, but am I willing to put in the work to see it through, to make sure that that happens, to pursue it? And it's going to cost you something to have the things you want. Whether it's letting go of patterns, whether it's putting a certain amount of work and effort in, whether it's having faith, whether it's giving it to God and calming yourself through the anxiety that can arise when you want to control an outcome. It's going to cost you something, to have the things that you want. So we're not all willing to pay the cost for what we want. And sometimes that's the case between men and women. They both want the relationship, or one of them wants the relationship, but they're not willing to pay the cost. And you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're begging a man to pay the cost. You're begging a man to value you, to value the relationship, to want what you want, and to see the vision that you see for the relationship. It's always better for you to be in the position where you're kind of following his lead. And what helps you do that is having your own full life, managing your mental health and your emotions, and having your options open. So when you're locked in on one guy, when you're trying to make him the one, when you're trying to, fit him into this husband size hole, you get over invested and you get sold too soon. So don't do that. Remember that one of the most important things you need to consider when you're deciding if you're going to be sold on a man is, has his treatment of you been consistently good, or meeting your standards or exceeding your standards for a length of time? Not a month, not a week, not 2 months, over a length of time. This is a life-changing decision that you're making. This will impact you potentially for the rest of your life. your livelihood, your children. You'll introduce this man to your family. I mean, this is a major decision. So don't rush into it. Don't just make it based on emotion. Use your logic too, because we do have that, and also your intuition. And if you wait a little bit longer to get sold and stay in observe mode, I mean, be open, be receptive, be appreciative. But if you stay in that observe mode a little bit longer, you will notice the things that come up that you're going to have to ask yourself, do I accept this or not? Am I okay with this or not? Can I see myself building with this man? Do we share a lot of the common core beliefs and desires and morals that it's going to take for us to, enter into something deeper? Is he acting like he wants something more? Is he just enjoying the time with me, or is he trying to advance the relationship? Is he making that clear? Am I getting mixed signals? Is he just pushing for something physical? Is his emotional baggage coming up, or I'm seeing that there's drama or confusion in his life? And do I want to be a part of that? Is that something I'm interested in? When you decide someone's attractive to you and completely worth it, you take yourself out of the position of being the chooser. And with that, you lose your leverage, you lose the upper hand, if you will, over your own life, over that thing that women value so much, which is our ability to self-determine, to make our own decisions, to live our own lives, and to not be forced into anything or backed into a corner. And when you are sold on a man too soon, you give that power away to someone that you don't even know very well, or you don't know if he's worth it. You don't know if he's the right guy. And then you become enslaved to the vision in your mind. You become enslaved to what you really want with him. It even isn't about him anymore. It's about what you desire. It's about this becoming a goal, this becoming something you're pursuing, just like you would pursue buying a house or buying a car or getting a degree or getting a certain job. It becomes something you have to have. And you're not paying attention to the man. You're not paying attention to what he's showing you or whether he's even worth you doing all of that. You're just in pursuit of the goal. So I just really want to advise you ladies to watch out for that. And again, like I've said in the group, you don't necessarily have to take any advice that I'm sharing. You don't have to agree with what I'm sharing. I'm doing this because I've spent a lot of time researching and learning in my life, learning through the women that I work with, learning through friends and different women I'm connected with, what works and what doesn't in a general sense. There's always going to be exceptions to the rule. There's always going to be somebody who says, well, I met my husband and we slept together on the first date and I was sold and it worked out and we're in such a happy, healthy relationship and I'm feminine and he's masculine and everything's perfect. And if that's the case for you, that is great. If I were you, I wouldn't even be shopping for different ways to do things. I would just be content with knowing that my relationship is what it is and I'm good with it. But if you're a woman who's here and you're either in a relationship that you feel like could be better, or you're not really happy with the dynamics of your relationship, you feel like you're more the leader, you're more the head of household, your husband's not really taking care of you the way you desire to be, so you don't feel feminine, you don't feel like cherished in the way you want to. He may be a good man, but I've heard a lot of women complain that they feel like they're their spouse's mother, that they're doing everything, that the weight of the world is on their shoulders, or that they have to constantly prompt and remind him to do the things that they would like a man to just do, that they have too much on them, that they are working full-time out of the home and they also have a second shift, and they're carrying maybe a bulk of the responsibility around the home or with the bills and things like that. So the polarity and the dynamics is just off, and subsequently sometimes the respect is off there too. And of course that can trickle into your attraction to him. So your intimate life is impacted. Y'all are butting heads when it comes to the kids or your family or major decisions that you're making. So if you find yourself in that category, or you're a single woman who's still looking for a man who you feel safe to let your guard down with, a man that's just like it almost seems like he's a perfect fit for you. He's what you need. He's what you want. Because sometimes those two are not the same, but he's what you need. He's what you want. And you can trust in your heart of hearts that he has your best interest in mind. You can allow yourself to be open with him and not guarded. Again, safety is huge. Safety is one of the top needs for women. So you feel safe with him emotionally, physically, spiritually, even, in every sense. And you feel like y'all are on similar levels where you don't feel like, okay, I have all these aspirations and I want to live this kind of life, and he's living a completely different lifestyle, and you feel like you're sacrificing your hopes or your dreams or your aspirations to be with him. You feel like he's maybe holding you back or dragging you down. You don't want a situation like that. You want you all to be equally yoked, is the way I would put it. If that's a desire you have, reach out, let me know. I can share some insights with you. I don't know if you've watched my other videos, but if you haven't, so I'm a love and dating coach. So I'm well studied and certified in relationships, happiness, energy healing. I have a background in social work and psychology, and sociology actually. And I've just been a student of relationships for a really, really long time. And I will tell you, nobody has a perfect relationship. Don't idolize any celebrity couples or even couples that you know. You can like aspects of their relationship that they show you, but you don't know what it's like behind closed doors. And that is not to speak negatively or to be pessimistic and to say, oh, everybody's got drama. Everyone doesn't have drama, but everyone goes through challenges. And there is no perfect man. There is no perfect relationship. Perfect, number one, is subjective. So what's perfect for, Kathy may not be perfect for Barbara. So again, you can't really judge that, but you can just observe different dynamics and say, I kind of like that. I would like to have something similar with my mate. But again, if you're sold on a man and you really want it to be him, you're going to have to deal with what he brings to the table and who he is. You're not going to get to call the shots on the different aspects you want to be present in your relationship, because you have to deal with that man as is. It's like buying a used car. He is as he is. Your best bet is to bring your best self to the table, and that will call out his best self, but his best self may not be what you want. It still may not be good enough. It may still, kind of fall short of your expectations or your desires. So another reason why I advise against getting sold on a man too soon before you know who he is and what he's truly bringing to the table. But if that's something that you want support or guidance around, or you just want to have a conversation, you have some thoughts you want to share, please post them in the group or feel free to send me a message or DM. Right now, I normally run a group program, but I'm not doing that right now. I'm just working with women one-on-one. I just feel like I have better capacity to support women one-on-one right now. I may go back to groups later, but reach out. I do one-off support. So if you need, you're in a crisis and you just want to have a quick session and talk, I can do that. I always recommend something a little more regular, kind of like preventive maintenance, where, if you're doing regular check-ins and we're talking a lot, then you're reprogramming your thinking, you're changing your perspective so you don't run into as many issues versus just calling or coming to me when you need to put out a fire. I can help you put out the fire, but, if nothing significant changes, you're probably going to have another fire that you need to put out before too long. So, reach out, let me know what you all think about this. Have you had experience getting sold on a man too soon? If you have, what was the outcome? How did it make you feel? And is it something that you want to avoid doing again? There is a reason why we do that. There is a tendency that we have to do that. And if you're able to identify the why behind you latching on and getting sold on someone too soon, you can nip it in the bud. And I can help guide you in that process and support you. I'm here for you. It's what I do. It's what I love to do. It's my passion. And I'm just here to support you ladies in any aspect of love, dating, relationships, life as a woman. I'm completely open to it. Please continue to interact in the group and post your answers to the questions that I post, and invite your friends. I have that contest going until April 2nd for inviting new members to the group. Don't forget to tag them in the post about the contest so that I know who you invited. And the winner, who invites the most people, will get a gift card from me for one of 3 stores. I think I said Amazon, Target, or like Ulta or Sephora or something like that, I think. So anyway, that's it for now. I didn't want to make this video super long, but do let me know if you're watching the replay, #replay. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a great rest of your day and be safe. Bye for now.